Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Whether you're walking to work, having a cup of coffee, or just seeking positive vibes, join me as I share timeless wisdom and practical tools to make your life better. Let's dive in. Do you have a high opinion of yourself, or do you sell yourself short? Have you ever imagined what your life would look like if you decided to think highly of yourself? Because I can guarantee you have a good reason to. And the reason is, what you think of you is the most important opinion that you have, which is what this episode is all about. Hello lovelies, welcome back to another episode. How are you all doing? I'm good and indeed blessed because I'm alive and I'm here with you another week. I really do appreciate each one of you listening to this podcast, and thank you for being here. So I was listening to a sermon on Sunday that said we should humble ourselves. And I thought deep about what it means to humble ourselves and how we should think then of ourselves. On Sunday, in the evening, again, I was watching a Formula One event. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Team Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. And in that evening, we had the win. It was so close. And we lost it from a small mistake that Lewis made. But what he said is what captivated me. He said that the whole experience humbled him. And I thought about what this was trying to teach us. So these two incidents inspire today's podcast, which is about thinking highly of yourself. When I was growing up, it was very common for me to hear things like, don't forget where you came from, don't be a show-off. And now when I think about those phrases, and I look back over my life, I realize that those kind of phrases, those kind of statements were all designed for us not to think too highly of ourselves. And when I was preparing for this episode, I was really curious what the society defines the phrase thinking highly of ourselves. And what I discovered is that it's associated with being an egocentric person, self-centered, thinking only of oneself without regard for the feelings or desires of others. You're selfish, you're proud, you're self-interested. And no wonder, my friends, we don't want to think highly of ourselves because society has taught us that if we think of ourselves in high regard, and God forbid we brag about ourselves, then we are the very things that we are so afraid of being. I believe that life is sweet and sour, and that we can always seek to choose thoughts that serve us, like thinking highly of ourselves, which also means to admire and respect someone a lot. The society wants to keep people in their place. The society believes in scarcity and lack. Meaning, if you think highly of yourself, that must mean that you think poorly of everyone else. Or you have too much confidence, then you're taking confidence from other people. Or if you have too much money, then you must be taking too much money from other people. Our society keeps us playing so small and keeps us from having a high opinion of ourselves. But I want us to have a mindset shift. And I want us to re-examine what it means to think highly of yourself and why it's so important. So the concept of embracing humility was so awakening for me as I was preparing for this podcast. And humility is defined as the quality or condition of being humble, a modest opinion or estimates of one's importance or rank, having a feeling of insignificance, inferiority, low in rank, importance, status, quality, lowly, courteous, and respectful. As humans, to have the sense of humility is seen as respectful and courteous, and that I can live with 100%. And that is what Lewis, who is a world champion, embraced after making a mistake and lost. And it's also what the pastor who was preaching the sermon was talking about. We should seek the sense of humility for us to grow in our lives. Unlike choosing pride. So most of us have been raised to have a sense of humility. And what you haven't realized is that you actually used that against you for a huge part of your life. Because what was driving it was fear. Fear of what people will think if I got too big and forgot where I came from. Fear of what people will think if I or you thought highly of ourselves. And any action taken out of fear only creates more fear. And it keeps you small. It keeps you hiding in your life. I don't believe in any of us being inferior to each other. I believe that we each have our unique strengths and no one is better than the other. Many of us think that if we have a high opinion of ourselves, if we think highly of ourselves, then it must mean that we think we are better than someone else, which isn't. It is not what it means at all. We are better, I don't think I'm better than anyone. We are better together. And you know why I don't think I'm better than anyone? Because what I have learned is that I'm a human. I have made so many mistakes and I'm still making them. I deal with daily discomfort. I still have to choose to think highly of myself. And because I embrace my humanness, because I don't hold myself to such high perfection or to such perfectionist standards, it allows me to be even more loving and to see the best in other people and to have a high opinion of others even when they make mistakes and even when they have failures. And this is a journey that I have decided to keep on seeking, to keep on learning and unlearning. I'm not saying that I embrace my humanness all the time. That's why I'm telling you, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't hold myself to perfectionist standards. I don't do that because I know I am human. And above all, I embrace my humanness. So, what if you decide to think highly of yourself? Thinking thoughts like, I'm proud of myself, I trust my own opinion, I enjoy being with myself, I admire myself. Because if you are asked, what is the upside of having a low opinion of yourself? I see none other than you get to stay where you are, which is probably very comfortable. But it's not where you're meant to be. if you're being truly honest with yourself. So when you have a high opinion of yourself and low opinion of others, that is arrogance. That is being proud and selfish. The other thing I see happening a lot is when you have a low opinion of yourself and a high opinion of others. This is when you put other people on a pedestal, and this is very common in our society. So this is when we see other people as better than us. This is when we go on to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and especially Instagram. We see a photo of someone and our brain immediately starts saying, oh, she's doing so much better than me in life. She's more successful than I am. She's prettier than I am. And we start living from a point of comparison, which steals our joy. But it's time as adults that we choose to think highly of ourselves, because it will impact our lives positively. We will learn to respect ourselves automatically. We'll have boundaries in our lives. We will learn to admire our accomplishments. We will learn to be proud of ourselves, to focus on our strengths and what we are amazing at, instead of beating ourselves up for what we think we are terrible at. We'll stop always being on default mode, where we only look for problems or what is bad with what is bad, what is negative about us. And because what you focus on grows, you'll begin to see your strengths. You begin to see what is amazing about you. You begin to see what your accomplishments are. You begin to see what you're proud of yourself everywhere. And what a wonderful and amazing human being you are. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I've certainly done it myself, is that many of us want to change ourselves in order to think highly of ourselves. So some of you are thinking, well, when I lose the weight, or when I get the money, when my business is up and running, when I get the husband, when I get the, just fill in the blank, then I will think highly of myself. But that is not how it works. Life, my friends, will always meet you at the level of your thinking. And I want you to always remember that. Life will meet you at the level of your own self-opinion and your own identity. So you have to cultivate your self-opinion first. And I want you to right now think about your life. If you were to choose to think highly of yourself, what will you be doing that you're not doing? How will you be showing up differently in your home, at work, in your community, and most importantly, with yourself? Here's what I would want to challenge you to do. Write 5 accomplishments, 5 things that you're proud of, 5 of your strengths, every day this week. And eventually I want you to learn to practice to do this, and maybe fill at least 1 page of your journal, because what you look for is what you find. And you have to start training your brain to look for what you want to see. Have a beautiful week, everyone. and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Sending you love and light your way. God bless and stay safe.